saw that, right? You caught all that we caught all that on camera. How the machine fell off. It's basically the tracks are too wide, you know, like normally with an excavator you use, you know, outriggers, just make them as long as the track. But the problem here was that it started sliding in the front, you know, and the guy did not do it on purpose, of course. It's just that, I don't know, I couldn't get to another spot, but here there's a little incline, right? So of course when I'm unloading, see, like it was coming down, see, like there's a little hill going down and it goes up. But we put some boards under the ramps second time. But look at this. First of all, of course, it scratched the heck out of it, like there's metal everywhere. See? Then it almost made a hole in my floor. It's pretty deep. You know? It's probably one of those things. And most damage was done not when it fell off, surprisingly, but when you try to take it out, you know, put it back. Basically we put some boards under, but again, because those parts over there are pretty low, right, and that's massive beam at the bottom, and it hit it right here. Well, I already painted it, but see, look at this. You see how it took off a bunch of metal over here? I was like crying inside. I said, man, what are you doing? And I showed him this, and yeah, of course, well, these are scratches and nothing, but I don't like when they kind of like trim off metal like this, you know. I hate it. Now, for the record, the guy never said he was sorry. He just, okay, we got a bunch of blocks, we're gonna give you a bunch of blocks. And that's what they used the second time, and we just build up blocks in here, because this was the weak area, right? But I cannot put my outriggers in there, because then there's not going to be enough in the back. But normally that's all you use, and my boards are pretty big. But yeah, for something like this, well, the inside of the track was sitting pretty much, look, see, and that's where it started sliding. It started sliding, like, because now it's, you know, it's like 30F -1, and it's very slippery. Basically, it was not grabbing almost no wood, you know, on the deck. And what helped is I came up with this idea. I said, hold on, when he was about to get on the second time already with the ramp. So I took these that I got from the buddy in Iowa, and I just put them like this, you know, like on this spot, like the most vulnerable part. And it helped, you know, it increased the traction. And I have a bigger one, yeah, and I put that one on the other side, just so that's what I'm gonna do when I'm gonna be unloading. But driving this thing, it's a remote, we just walk next to it. But what makes it difficult is just this separate control for each track, and that's it. There's no gearbox, there's nothing. Like you start it, then you look for the light that says that the remote is synced. He showed me, he says, you see this green light, just push it in. As soon as it disappears, your remote is linked, and the remote is in there. It has a little holder, magnetic, and it's, while it's in transit, it's charging, and we turn off the battery. And basically, as soon as you start the engine, then you just push those buttons and say, hold on, which way is reverse? Which buttons I push? I don't want to do any more damage. And he said, okay, engine is the front. So he says on the remote it'll say forward, so I'm not touching those. So I hit 2 reverse buttons and it's automatically in lower gear, even though it has a higher gear. But he says you don't need that. I said, you bet. I only need low gear. But I'm not too concerned, you know. I just, because now, but it was, yeah, it was really scary. I thought they would really rip off the side of the trailer, but just a scratch, you know. But that's what I keep telling, you know, people I know, that don't be concerned about the brand or whatever. They all will look the same. And imagine, this trailer is what, like 1 month old? Well, it was sitting at the factory, right? But it was he was not doing anything. But now, especially these machines, I find that these machines do a lot of damage. Even though, look at the grousers, they're pretty modest, just like an excavator. Now imagine if this thing had those 6-inch grousers like the ditch machine I picked up in Strathroy last summer. I don't know. I'm not picking them up, like, honestly, unless they put something, unless they use some kind of protective material. I'm not dealing with that shit, because it's just too much damage, you know. So I only have one trailer. I cannot just buy a new trailer each time these guys decide to break it, you know. But anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. Like, when we're gonna unload, so they gave me all these blocks. That's probably, I don't know, $400 worth of blocks, you know, because this is expensive, right? It's oak or something, but it's hardwood. There's a bunch on the other side. So I'm gonna just strap them down, and then when I'm there, just gonna build them like this. Because yeah, once it's sitting over there, it's okay, right? Because there's traction on that, on the outrigger board, right? But as soon as it goes in here, this metal, and so yeah, now I know two things. I gotta use the rubbers, put them in here, and I'm gonna build up this as high as possible and just go very gentle, you know. And the first most important thing is don't unload at a spot like this, because yeah, this is crazy. There's a hill going down here and there's a hill going up in there, and I drained all the suspension. Like, the trailer cannot go any lower, you know, there's no air. And still it was like this, you know, negative angle. But you know, like, it's a big property, but you cannot block the driveway. And then I tried to, actually in the back, there's the guy says that's the level spot in there, like that second driveway over there. But I tried to turn around, I couldn't turn around in there, it's blocked. So I had to come back in here. I said, forget it. It's either load that way and it's a hill as well, or this looked to me when I was in the truck, in the, you know, when I looked from the cab of the truck, it looked level, you know. And it is level, like left to right, but it's not level in terms of height. See, like, it looks okay, right? How bad can it be? But then you start, anyway, that's what the weak spot of these trailers. They really don't like you know, uneven ground. Now let's see, would I be able to load this with a drop side rail? What do you guys think? This thing damaged the floor, and the clearance, I think it's about like that. Actually, yeah, it's not there, it's over there. No, but on the sides is okay, right? Because on my previous trailer the center was raised. I can tell you it would be a nightmare, you know. But loading would be easier because that trailer is much lower, you know. So maybe it would still slide, but it would not drop like that, you know. Oh yeah, because the sides were only like 14 inches, right? So that thing at the track probably would not hit the beam. I'm just thinking, you know. But I know that sometimes those drop side drill trailers, you have to use lots of timbers, because again, when you load, you know, at this spot where the tracks are somewhere here and it still has a way to go to the ramp, it starts hitting the trailer. Because on that trailer, this spot was still this height, you know, like this part. And I remember I had less problems with the actual deck, right? Because this was my highest point when loading, and I was always scratching this, you see. But so now this is safer, but the sides are now losing, because the sides are much taller than on a trailer. Well, the good news is that it's a modular trailer, right? So if somebody damages too bad, I'll just charge them the money for the new deck, you know. That's what we can do. Just say, hey buddy, you just ruined my trailer, so all we do is just undo these couple of bolts in there, you know, disconnect this, the guy gives me a new deck, and off I ride into the sunset. You see, this is good. No, like seriously, right? If this was a regular trailer, you damage something real bad, you have to replace everything, you know. With this one, you just reply, I don't know, how much would be a deck? So we have gooseneck, which is probably the most expensive part, probably 25 grand. And then the wheels, the tires. So this was 109 US, right? So I'm thinking probably the gooseneck is about 25 grand. This rear end is probably about I don't know, 30 because of all the wheels and tires. So 55, and probably this is about 50, I'm thinking. US. What? South is the wrong way. Where are you going? These are so stupid. That's west. See? They have no clue where they're flying. Unbelievable. I think this one is not sitting properly. Look at this and look at this. There we go. Alright, I was just walking around taking a break, but I think I'm done. And for engineers, shipping such an expensive original machine, and they say this is a prototype, you know, but you damage my trailer. Well, I used protection where I could, like over here I used some rubbers. I used that conveyor belt again, thanks for the buddy from Iowa. I'm gonna get me one of these, like maybe buy a roll and cut it, like really handy. And then here they have this, but basically these eyes, they only have 2 in the front, 2 in the back, but then they have this hole, and it's all massive frame. And I just put one long chain, and you see the beauty of this, that I normally before I would have to use a second chain, like a short chain, because this is my 10-footer. I would have to use my 6-footer, and then you muscle with 2 chains. But because of this, I can hook up directly to here. So this was expensive, but worth it. Durabuilt. So we have one of this, so this counts as 2, right? As 2 short chains, the same. And we have 2 on each side. So basically long chain, if you count them as long chains, this is 1, 2, 3, right? Because 2 short chains is like 1. So it gives me, so now I know that these D-rings are only rated for 10,000 pounds, even though the binders chains are rated for higher. So that means that this part can hold 20,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds. So 3 long chains, or 1 long and 4 short. So this part can hold 60,000. The whole machine is, they said 79. I said, are you sure? Where's the heaviest part? And they said, well, inside, because that's like a burning chamber inside. So basically it's a burner, it's like a stove, and inside there's concrete isolation, you know, so that the metal doesn't burn. And I said, okay, so it's not the engine, it's this part. And that's why we see where my light is. Normally I put the middle of the track in there, so the middle of the track will be somewhere here, but I moved it backwards since they said it's a lot of weight, and plus I needed to clear my, see, that's how you look at these things. When they load something, you look how much you have to, well, my rear of the gooseneck will be here, right? So I could have stopped here, but then I need access to this, and I wanted to move the weight more to the front, because on the front I have much more axles, right? And the reason I put that one down is because of it'll be in the way, right? It would be sitting somewhere here, like when it's flipped, and I was not sure how much space we need here. And one more thing is, I was concerned about this. I thought, how would this thing go over my wheel area? And I measured this was about 18 inches, like from the deck to the top. So to clear, you would need about 20, right? And it has that clearly, as you can see. But so it sits pretty good, you know. This goes over there, so it's not too long.
get you the paperwork, okay? Yeah, I'll go get you the paperwork. I know exactly where it is. Just give me 1 minute, okay? Yeah, I'll be here. Yeah.
You guys saw that, right? Humongous machine. Oh boy, this is a beaut. You know? Check this out. Like you always say, Captain Sergei always gets weird loads, but it's not my fault. You know, they're willing to pay the money, right? And somebody comes up with all these ideas, right? Like you would think, why would you, you know, like probably there's a bunch of guys, you know, sitting on Friday and they're thinking, what kind of weird machine can we come up with? And the guy says, hey, it's cold, you know, let's heat the stove. You know, let's start the fire in the stove. And the other guy say, hey, that's a brilliant idea. What we can do, we can take tracks from a World War II tank and add tracks to the stove and make it a tracked stove. And so these guys drank a bit more beer and then they decided it was a good idea. And sometime a few years after that incognito meeting somewhere in the woods, in the cottage, we have this, you know. Tying down these took me almost as much time as tying down the entire machine. Because my floor is not level, so like this is taller than this. I put 3 boards, these boards, I put 3 boards in there, 1 board on the top, and because it's wiggly I put 2, so now it's okay. But so the first mod we're doing on this trailer, since we're not doing any mods on the car because the car is perfect, I love it the way it is for now. But the first mod, when I come back, or maybe I'll find a weld shop in there in the States, like all guys here, local guys, they all put mesh, you know, metal underneath, and the entire middle of the trailer is one big storage area. You know, because this is ridiculous doing it like that. Well, at least you know, they're pretty big. You're gonna put a lot of them, but at least I could put probably 4 in each, you know. But yeah, I'm keeping this. Don't tell anybody, I'm keeping them. You guys damage my trailer, I'm keeping your timbers.